right, welcome to the pre-game live stream video where I am sitting here painting some things and making some very what would you call it? Contentious titles for my live stream. Got the hat on that my wife bought me. I love this hat. I'm wearing one of my old shirts, and of course, you know. So, what are we going to talk about today? That I don't know. I've been doing what I normally do, which is painting 5 things all at the same time. And it's been working out pretty much exactly that way. So, one of the players is already called out tonight, but I don't think it'll be that big of a deal as far as what we had going on in game. So, as long as the GM shows up, game is on. I unfortunately let my players down last week in that we were sitting at the table ready to go. My bro BRC was over, and I hardly ever get to see him, let alone game with him. Well, bro's a strong word, but a guy like. And what did I do? I fell asleep. And then I felt, wow, what an asshole I am, Now, luckily, the people who did show up, they all just played Pandemic and Splendor and stuff like that. So that bit was cool. Oh, my wife posting. Tonight's dinner is, oh, nice. She makes a thing that's kind of like lasagna, except instead of flat lasagna noodles, and but she uses elbow pasta or what's it? Panini, not panini, but pasta rustica. Anyway, the spiral ones. So it's got all the stuff lasagna has in it, but it's just different pasta. Even though I shouldn't be eating a ton of pasta, I've been pretty good today as far as keto stuff, and I've taken my meds. So what are you going to do? Not eat pasta? I mean, when your wife makes a beautiful, delicious meal. I see 2 of you watching. You could say hello. You could make comments. Then I could either yell at you or agree with you. That would be good. That would be good. Tonight's dinner is ramen. Yeah, but when you do ramen, you go all out. So it's not like I'm not feeling bad for you because I'm not thinking like you're eating like a pack of, cheap ramen. I know how you do. So, you could jump on if you want. I know it's like past 5 and, you turn into a pumpkin. But, up to you. No. Hola. Hey. Hola. ¿Cómo estás, mi amigo? I know a little bit of Spanish, but only because where I live is a Spanish-dominated area. And when you work as, a first responder, sometimes you run into the little abuelas and they don't speak English, or they do, but they don't want to. So, you got to learn a little Spanish because, the ones that say they don't speak English, they're the ones you got to watch. Because, man, oh, man, I've seen people get in big trouble because they're working with an abuela. And the abuela is like, no English, no English. She speaks English. And then this idiot, not me, other idiot, talks a bunch of shit about, I wish these people would just learn the language, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as Abuela gets out of the hospital, guess where the first place she goes is? To see the chief. Grade school Spanish. Yeah, your ramen is like real Japanese ramen. Canadian invasion, they just banned 175 more guns. I put that up there because I made a video. Hey, Jose, how you doing, homie? I hope you're doing well. I got your message that your job's very, strenuous, but, can't join without a link. Sorry. But satisfying. That is the best. Like as a firefighter, yes, my job was incredibly dangerous and physical and strenuous, but man, I loved it. Like every minute of it. And if you ask most people who work in, the field as a first responder, they'll tell you the same thing. Yo estoy muy bien. Oh, look at this guy. So you're doing really good. How am I doing? A C. A C. But you just about tapped. Oh, look at this guy. Yeah, angry tabletop nerd. You inspired me to make a video. Of course, I didn't go as hard as you did because I did the first video I did. I actually reacted to the new video he put out where he builds the little moose and talks shit. And I went freaking buck wild and talked a bunch of shit. And then I realized, So I just made a video being like, if anyone is in Canada thinking that America actually isn't on invading you people, you're idiots. And you need to understand that Trump, God love him, loves to troll people.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Especially if by trolling a person, he's manipulating them into a position to make a deal. By making Trudeau cry, Trump is putting Trudeau in a position to where when Trump wants to start making deals with him, Trudeau's going to be in a very weak position.
Oh my God. Did you see all that stuff where Italy and stuff is all like, yo, Trump, we kind of like your idea of what to do with Ukraine. So all our soldiers are coming home and they can bite it.
Well, it's because Keir Starmer went all over the place after the little rat-faced bastard visited Europe and tried to talk the Europeans into like actually doing shit in Ukraine. And like Poland and Italy and a bunch of those were like, get the F out of here. And it's like, I don't know if people know this right now, but the Russian army has mobilized like 600,000 combat infantrymen plus all the other bullshit. And England's whole army is like 50,000 guys or some shit. It's like, are you insane, England? We're going to put planes in the air and boots on the ground. You're going to get your ass killed. And America is not going there with you. That's what's happening with Ukraine. Sorry, EU, you're not our friends. We might have thought we were friends, but we're not really friends because you guys are a bunch of crazy communists that are living that 1984 life, throwing people in jail for praying and shit. Hey, we're not going to get involved in a nuclear exchange because you guys want to, what's it called when you send money to it? Launder more money.
I've been saying for years, and you know this, that the U.S. needs to leave the UN.
It looks like we might, because apparently after Zelensky pulled his bullshit by saying he was going to sign that deal and then not, but signing it with the UK, Vladimir Putin contacted our State Department and said they have trillions of dollars of heavy metal that they're perfectly willing to work with us to extract. So the future may be one where we tell the EU and Ukraine and all that shit to pound sand out of their sandy vaginas and actually ally in trade agreements with Russia, which I think would be the best thing for America. And a lot of people will be like, oh, I disagree, whatever. And hey, you're welcome to your opinion. But, dude, can you imagine getting involved in some kind of multi-trillion-dollar extraction deal with the Russians? I mean, Putin ain't invading anybody because too much money, being made. We're not getting involved in shit because too much money being made. If everybody's making tons of money and they're fat and happy, there's no war. But what rat-faced little cokehead did by going behind our back and signing a deal with the freaking British, to me, that's a betrayal, not only by that scumbag, but by Keir Starmer too. He knew what he was doing. So yeah, I have not got any of the mercenary Kickstarter stuff. I thought about it, but I have actually my disposable income I've been saving because Stalker 2 came out and my computer won't run it. So I have to save up enough money to buy a newer computer that will run Stalker 2 so that I can play Stalker 2.
I've been saving my disposable income too. There's two things that I'm thinking about buying besides a house. There's a really nice
Pool boy.
Well, there's a really nice 70s GMC Rambler for sale down the road.
Nice.
And I'm thinking about buying that. And I want one of the new Savage Arms 6.5 Creedmoor semi-automatic rifles.
Didn't you have one?
Yeah, I had a bolt action. Yeah, I should have kept it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nice rifle, right?
Yeah, it's the Remington
Davian Cavalry Lance comes out. I've seen a few of the Lances, like the box sets for sale. There's two major problems. One, if it's got a mech in it that's post 3025, I'm not buying it. And two, like I said, I want to play Stalker really bad. Maybe they'll remake Metro 33 with like better graphics and stuff. Man, I don't know what it is, but those games are amazing. If you've never played them, they really are. Like, they're based on a book called Roadside Picnic, loosely based, which was the book, believe it or not, that the guys that made Fallout were inspired by. They were inspired by that book and an 80s movie called Radioactive Dreams,
which you can watch on YouTube. And it's a great movie.
ISS Vanguard is like XCOM with planetary exploration. Oh, that sounds kind of cool. I liked the first XCOM. I didn't care for the second one. Yeah, I didn't play the second one, but the first one was really cool. Battling the alien greys and all that kind of stuff. That was really cool. And I actually, I'm not going to lie, I got attached to some of the characters. But, oh shit. I just noticed the number 4 here. Oh, man. All right.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I know, right? Look at our, we got our homies.
Oh, hello.
We got Jose and Holy Diver in here.
Yeah. Hey, Hungar, how you doing?
HD, I watched that video like 3 minutes after it hit YouTube yesterday.
I appreciate you.
The one I sent you in Messenger chat today.
Oh,
we
is it the
chatted on
one where
Instagram.
he's talking about these idiots?
Oh yeah, he got a little spicy in that video. I liked it.
Well, no, if you've been watching some of these Canadian, like, okay, the Matthew from Mini Wargaming made of money. I'm not begging for money, but I'm begging for money.
Right.
And it's the sense of entitlement. Like the Canadians up there, like the influencer class in gaming right now, they literally have this like attitude like we owe them a living. From buying from their stores or their forges or their SDLs. Like Mini Wargaming was so Matthew was complaining that they're taking a bunch of stuff to Adepticon and that they're going to pay a tariff on it. And I hope Big Don hits them with a 60% tariff. It'll be so tremendous. But they were, so he's like, become a channel subscriber or a vault member subscriber and do the whole spiel. And then the Gorilla Game guy, nothing against Ash Baker. He was talking to he has a guy on his show. They do a little show where it's a game store owner in Canada. And I'm sure a lot of his business is wholly reliant on sales from online sales to the US, basically. And so that's going to affect them there. But they kind of come off like we owe them a living, and that's the impression I got from Matthew. And then there's the guy that I talked about, Black Magic Crafts. He really thinks that Trump and the Republicans are Nazis, and he was bashing him. He was bashing our duly elected president as a Nazi. And I said, if you hate this nation so bad, don't come to Chicago for Adepticon. Don't come to our conventions. Put your money where your mouth is.
I agree with you on one thing you said. HD is like, I've been called Nazi so many times lately that it doesn't even matter to me anymore.
No, that's the first what do you call it, argument in any Marxist playbook. I'm a not C, the letter C, as in not a communist, which is basically all you have for governance up there in Canada. You've got hardline socialism or you've got further left communism. Take your pick. That's what they have.
Yeah, but it's getting to a point where somebody calls you that, and it's just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay, is that the best you've got? I've been called worse.
Well, like I've said on X, I've been called a Nazi so much it kind of makes me want to be one.
Hey, we are German descent, and I am not ashamed of anything any of my ancestors ever did.
So, it's like if you keep calling everybody a Nazi, eventually some people are going to be like, okay. And then what? Just like, where are you doing? It's like, but no, I just, I kind of hope he goes to Chicago. Maybe he'll find himself in little Moscow or little Warsaw, and he'll talk a bunch of shit about Christianity.
No, I literally hope he gets ripped off while getting pizza while getting pizza by some crackhead. Just that knife point. Give me all your money. Stick your finger in your butt. Bend over. Stay there.
Well, like I was saying, I was just saying that because a lot of American Christians are very pacifist.
Well, no, he also insulted.
If you go into a Slavic area and you start talking shit about the Orthodox Church, you will lose teeth.
He also insulted Christianity. And I put the screen capture up there where he's like, nobody cares about your Sky Daddy cult. And I'm like, dude, you are like 50 years old. Show some fucking respect. Sorry, I'm swearing on your channel.
You're loud.
Come on. Haven't you watched his show, especially?
Yes, I do. I always make sure I leave a like, and I tell everybody watching to leave good old DM James a like on his channel here when he's doing these streams. Because but it's just like I expect that kind of decorum from a 9-year-old playing Sega, not wanting to go to church. End of story. And then
that reminds me of the 90s when there was like that whole flock of edgelord atheists that were all over YouTube. And it was like no one cares, like Thunderfoot and frickin' the fat one from Maine or whatever. And
the fat one from Maine.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, you're an atheist. Good for you. Whatever. Um, literally, no one gives a shit,
Nobody cares.
and it's like, and that was the thing. I was like, I'm all for being proud of your country, but you don't got to be a dick. I mean,
And so JVC Paints, this is actually pretty funny. He he called me up. He's like, as a snow mongrel, I got to agree with you because Canadians are boycotting orange juice. You're going to find this hilarious. So they have a Canadian brand of orange juice that they're buying, but where the are they getting their oranges from? I said, I don't know. Florida? He says, oh, you guessed it.
Yeah, because
yeah, I
orange.
saw that somebody posted a meme, and it showed like a Canadian posted the meme, and it showed like the big refrigerated where the orange juice was. And they're like, notice the American brands are still there, but the Canadian brands are all gone. And someone posted under it, is on X. They're like, where do you think oranges come from?
I know
It's
exactly
like,
where orange juice comes from because even you get these idiots that say, I buy California orange juice. Well, I used to deliver oranges and orange juice from Florida to California. That was my job. I'd pick up orange juice in Florida from Tropicana, take it to California where they would brand it as California orange juice and drop that shit off. All orange juice comes from Florida.
All
yeah,
oranges
because
come from
we
Florida.
grow,
I thought you could grow oranges in the the south of
You
California. I
can,
guess
but
not very well.
you can.
you
But
can, but
what
not as
happens
much as
is,
Florida.
yeah, Florida oranges are grown to be made into juice, and California oranges are grown to be ate.
Oh,
And they're
okay.
two different kinds of orange. Because there's like, I mean, not to get crazy, but there's many, many types of oranges.
Yeah, yeah. Just like
So, like,
just like
hell, Hungar and I, where we lived, was like 45-minute drive from a giant Tropicana plant. Every time you drove by it, it just smelled like orange juice because, and they had like a railhead there with all the trains coming in full of oranges and shit. It was like, whatever, but
no, I
Snow
hear you
Mongrel
there.
is funny. The only thing I said is, dude made a whole video about hockey, and it's like, dude, you will never win another Stanley Cup again. Get over it. I mean, even Florida has won 2 or 3 Stanley Cups now.
And we're fucking Florida, dude.
And we're Florida. It's like, you guys just ain't got the money. Every time they get a player worth the shit, some American team rolls in with a big sack of money and is like, hey, come play for our team.
And
And,
that's I've always had a problem with that, even because like Wayne Gretzky would always represent Canada during the Olympics, but he would play for the Rangers.
right.
It's like, come on, dude, where's your bread and butter at? You're playing for the Rangers with one of the most lucrative contracts in the history of hockey, probably to this day.
Well,
You're still probably pound for pound the most famous hockey player in existence because I
he's
haven't seen.
definitely the most famous hockey player in existence.
99, baby.
And you're going and you're playing for Canada, just like some of these other guys in the NBA. They're going and they're playing for Canada. And then our black guys complain, oh, it's extra work. Why should we have to represent our country in the Olympics?
Well,
Like,
here's the thing.
you're being paid $100 million. Stop whining.
Stop
Most
whining.
people in Florida don't even realize that we have a hockey team. That's how popular hockey is in Florida. And we've won the Stanley Cup. Like we when we had a baseball team, we won the World Series, and people are like, we have a baseball team?
Yeah, but we're extra smart in Florida. We won the pennant and then immediately disbanded the team.
Yeah.
That was the Marlins. They went in. The entire salary of the Florida Marlins was less than one player on the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And they still won the championship. And then, like, the very next year, they were disbanded. It's like, what you painting on today?
I am painting some of my Cataphracti Death Guard Terminators.
James
So
get rid of all his 40K or Warhammer stuff.
So
No,
this
that's
is all
30K
it's
stuff.
all 30K. I don't play 40K anymore. They were playing.
James getting rid of his Warhammer stuff.
Who's
Not
getting rid of
30K
it?
though.
James getting rid of his fantasy.
James is buried under plastic. I can tell. I'm just looking
Yeah,
at
yeah. I'm gonna simplify some things, but
Yeah, I've been to his house.
Cataphracts, nice.
I've
So
been I've been to my
Mini
brother's house.
Death Guard.
I
So
know.
you're doing the like white and green.
it's more like a Menoth white,
Yeah, that kind of creamy color.
a creamy color, and then I actually, if you've watched me on Rumble at all, I've actually got an AK marker, and this is a green color after I wash it.
Nice.
And I can send your brother a couple pictures for him to send to you because I know you're not on Instagram.
Mm-mm.
I keep telling him he
I
needs
am on
to.
Rumble.
And it's what do you call it? Olive Grün. It's one of the German greens.
Oh, nice.
I keep telling my brother he needs to be on Instagram because those reels are spicy.
I've been kind of using these for some of my stuff lately. Like this is the dark brown.
Yeah.
But it's that Tamiya extra thin, like enamel panel liner. And it's pretty good stuff, man. I mean, I'm just starting to put the primer coat on this. This is a BTR 90 with I think that's a 30 millimeter autocannon on it. And then over here, I haven't even started primering this, but I love it. This is my M60A4 Starship, an American tank. They use these all the way from Vietnam to Desert Storm. Mostly the Marines, because the Army, ditched these guys for the M1A1s.
The Marines will use everything until it falls apart, man. They have no budget.
They kind of get the
There was a
Army.
story I heard about some Marines that stole a couple of Hummers from the Army and they didn't even notice they were gone.
Yes.
Yeah, that's possible.
They lost some of their Hummers in battle, so some of the Marines ran over to the Army base to hang out with their buddies and drove home, half a dozen Humvees, and the Army's like, oh, whatever, because they didn't know they've got hundreds of them just sitting in the motor pool, and the Marines are like, woohoo, vehicles.
Well,
I know when I was
one thing I disagree with on the Marines was Terrence Popp. He's a pretty big YouTuber for male stuff and for the Manosphere. He's a former Green Beret, and he really hated Fallujah because every time the Marines would they were like, we're taking fire from this building. Okay, we're assaulting, and then their casualty rates were just appalling because they would assault the building, and when it was there was the polar opposite because all they had to do was call in a tank, and they never called in the tank. Where the Army would be like, okay, taking fire, tanks here, everybody up behind the tank, let's go.
Because the Marines probably didn't have any tanks, poor bastards.
No, but you there. They could have called for them, and they didn't.
You got to admire them when they were under investigation because they were getting too many headshots.
That did happen in Iraq. Yeah, that happened. But Holy Diver's 100% right. And I've even told people this in live streams. When I was in Iraq, if we took fire from any sort of structure at all, first off, I was mechanized infantry. So we had the Bradley there. And the Bradley could throw some, 25 millimeter HE rounds into whatever, But if we were part of a combat arms
situation,
which meant 3 companies of infantry, 1 company of armor. So the M1 was right. It was always somewhere in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So anytime we took fire, like one time we took fire from a train station, and it's like, okay, do we assault the train station? No. We called the M1 in and let it drop a 120 HE in there and, figure it out. And the whole time the Bradley's just thumping away with that 25 Mike. And it's like, and I'm just sitting there, on the machine gun. as a dismount, just being like, all right, and it's crazy because that was like 3 a.m. So
We've got the best thing ever. Our military, we've got the flying tank.
right, but the tracers coming out of that Bradley looked like glowing grapefruit.
Damn.
It was like you'd hear it go boom, 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 and every now and then you'd see one of these big glowing rounds going down range, and it's just like we ate up like a BDRM armored car and the whole building, and then for the longest time, because I was young and stupid at the time, I was like, damn, all these guys we killed, none of them got their shoes on. I was like, did they get blown out of their boots? And then I got older and wiser. I was like, they were asleep. It's 3:30 a.m. They don't have night vision. We do. You know what I mean? So they jumped up from their nap to try and fight, and it wasn't really a fight.
The Americans are just going by, their traditions. You got to think. We started off with a crazy motherfucker crossing a frozen river in the middle of the night.
On Christmas to cut people's throats while they were asleep.
Yeah, those hustlers didn't know what was going on. See, that's what Americans do. We attack at night on holidays.
Right. I said that. I was like, these countries that are always bragging about their universal health care, but they have like 300 dudes and like leftover rifles for their protection because they know we got their back. And it's like, I think that might be coming to an end.
Yeah, all that shit and Hufflepuff Europe's coming to an end. If we can unbuckle from NATO, and this is the one problem I have. Trump's trying, but it's like, oh, well, a judge injuncted me in court and says we still have to give billions in aid anyway. Like, what kind of like bleepery is this?
Oh, and I love it when people say he's not a king, and it's like, well, that judge ain't either. Right? And nobody elected that judge because in a lot of states they're appointed. So, it's like, but the president of El Salvador posted a thing on X, and he is like, I was trying to fix my country and the judicial system kept suing me. So we just impeached all the judges and replaced them. And now I can do whatever. And the country's doing great.
I say impeach the judges and just close the courts forever. Close the courts forever.
Yeah.
They were established by Woodrow Wilson, who is literally number 2. If I have a hit list of world leaders that I would go after to change history if I could, Woodrow Wilson is number 2. Number 1 is Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
Hitler isn't even in my top 5.
Well, I mean, because you got Stalin, Marx, Engels. I mean, there's so many people. I'm watching the crap Doge posts on X, and some of this stuff is laughable.
I've seen a video. I don't know if this is on X where the kid comes into this girl's office. Okay, I'm Charles, aka Facefucker. I need to stick a thumb in your drive. And he's like, I don't need permission to stick a thumb in. You're gonna have to give me your laptop. And she just walks out with her laptop. And he's like, you're gonna have to charge it eventually. Cord's here when you're ready for me to insert my thumb. And then it's like, we're gonna have to establish a command center here until she comes back.
When Elon changed his name to Big Boss.
No, Elon wasn't Big Boss. That was another guy.
So they've got these internet handles.
On X, he changed his name to like Giant Johnson or some shit.
No, his name was Big Balls on X for a few days.
So if I were coming in, when I was working at Doge, my name's John, aka Big Floppy Donkey Dick.
And then like all of the media
it's like 3
days
balls.
just being like big balls.
Yeah,
they're too stupid to know that they've been trolled.
Well, that's what I was saying to my Canadian cousins. You got trolled by Trump, and he does that because he's maneuvering Trudeau into the position he wants Trudeau to be in.
I don't know why they just don't get rid of him sooner. He's already resigned. Why is he still there?
Why was he there in the first place?
Because
Because the
have you seen
Canadians are
Canada? The
basically like
pussies
the
are running
Europeans.
that joint, lock, stock, and barrel. When they're not busy taking vacations from doing absolutely nothing, they're robbing each other blind. I accidentally said 2003, but in 2023 alone, the theft there is out of hand. $1.5 billion in theft claims, and they literally. So it's like you got to imagine a bunch of people living in trailers, basically, because you can't afford to buy a house.
The
You see,
Trailer Park
the one
Boys.
thing that you allow yourself to have is a big, nice pickup truck or something. Then somebody goes in, breaks your window, starts taking stuff out of your pickup truck, right down to the stereo. Your neighbor just watches them and then literally tells you, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was your friend helping you unload your truck."
Jesus.
That's Canada. It's
I don't even
literally
like my
that
next.
bad with theft out there.
I
It's
don't even
really
like my
sad.
next door neighbor, but I'd stop somebody from stealing his shit.
Yes, I would too. It's like you'd be like, okay, you're not going anywhere.
It's
And then
sad because
so
all
what
the
they say,
Canadian-
there's videos on Instagram about this, about Canadian police. Just leave your doors unlocked and let them come in.
I've got a mystery musketeer for that.
Oh, well, they're all
well,
disarmed up there. So it's like, I don't know why they're talking shit. I mean, I think I could take over Toronto with with at least 15 well-adjusted men from Wyoming who could make the naval standard of fitness, which is like a mile and a half in 11 minutes. I could, and AR-15s. That's it. And the Toronto cops would show up and be like, "I'm a cop. I'm not trained to handle this level of violence."
right.
Like in what is that movie with
Demolition Man, one of the greatest
Demolition Man?
movies
That's the
ever.
Toronto police.
Simon Says,
They'd send
"Ah,"
out a bunch of girls to arrest my men, and then they would become free ammo pickups.
right. But Satya, who I believe is in Finland, hello, Satya. I hope you're not freezing in Finland. And yeah, Doge, the Doge thing is the weirdest thing ever. It's like you've got this group of people who are going over all the books to try and find out how you're being robbed. And there are literally people out there who are mad about it.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It's like, so you think spending $20 million to give people in Guatemala transvestite operations is a good expenditure of tax money? I mean, what are you talking about?
And here's the thing that gets me on that, bro, to bring up something that you guys were talking about earlier, is like they're always saying their favorite thing is nobody elected Elon Musk. Well, nobody elected the fucking judges that are trying to stop Trump from making the country a better place. But you don't bring that up, do you fucking tools?
Nobody
Oh, no, never in a
elected like
million years, buddy.
90% of these bureaucrats. And some of them have literally, like Fauci was literally on the job for like 45 years.
Yeah, like I did think after working for as long as he did, after 40 years, you could have retired. And they don't. They literally they've been robbed. People like that have been robbing us blind.
Oh,
And but it's just like I said, that video just kind of came about. There was as a request by a Fenda War Gamer. That's his handle on Rumble, and he sent me all the stuff, and I said I'll get to it. I had a kind of a busy February, so I wrote the show in parts. I actually wrote the first part, and then when I was at work and I wasn't doing anything and I was just sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write the second. I'm going to write the hit piece on Black Magic Crafts. And then I told him I had to charge you money, asshole. But I told him thanks for the tip and helping me out there. And so that's how we get the shows. Is people they got to come to me with some things or some grievances, because then I can actually
because I had to research shit that I'll never unsee. Speaking of Canadians, we got a good one though. We like this one.
I see the Maple Leaf signal went up.
Yeah. No. I did my video about black market crafts being a douchebag and
Black
saying,
Magic Crafts.
Yeah.
What's he
Anyone in Canada who seriously thinks America is going to take it's like you got trolled. Get over it.
He's a Canadian influencer from I think it's It's not Saskatchewan. Canadian influencer. He makes terrain. He's got a really relatively big YouTube channel. His name is Black Magic Crafts, and so he's accusing. He said when Trump was elected, this is a setback for the LGBT community. And then he was insulting somebody didn't like a piece of terrain that was kind of blasphemous that he made for Trench Crusade, and he literally told the guy on Instagram, "Nobody cares about your Sky Daddy cult." And so I got sent that screenshot. But like, my video that I made was literally half of it was about will tariffs affect the price of Warhammer goods in Canada. And you have Guerrilla Miniatures and a couple, and not to mention Matthew from Mini Wargaming came out, says, "I'm not begging for money, but okay, I'm begging for money. Please join our channel subscription here," because he was complaining about tariffs, that they're going to go down to the convention. Then, so the Black Magic Crafts guy has been bashing America and and the Republicans and calling them Nazis. And I told him, if you hate America that bad, don't come down to our convention in Chicago. At the end of the video. And,
see, I like Canada just fine because I want to go to the Dungeon Ministers Convention in Canada.
BearCon's awesome, dude.
I've been to
so
Canada
hang on,
a couple of
guys.
times and had a blast there, but that
Let
was
me get a
back
word
in
in.
the 90s, 80s.
Let me get a word in.
Let's hear
Today,
it.
one of my friends said something to me that made me want to fucking laugh so hard I would cry. You know, Trump's doing all this like vacillating on tariffs and everything to disrupt the Canadian economy, so that way it'll be easier to annex us financially. And I'm just like, what is wrong with people? Do people not fucking pay? Like, what the fuck? I told him at the end of the conversation, I said, dude, you need to send me every source you're getting your media from, just so I can see who's filling your head with this shit. Like, it's insane. It's fucking insane. He's fucking with everyone. He's a troll. He's the troll king. Yeah, but he keeps moving the tariffs and it's affecting the market. He doesn't give a fuck about the market right now. What he gives a fuck about is making sure the war in Ukraine stops. And he has to do that by playing madman politics. That's the thing no one understands, because we haven't had a madman leader since fucking Nixon. You know what I mean? So they don't understand what a madman leader is. You need right now everyone in the world to go, we shouldn't fuck with America because we don't know what the fuck they'll do. They could nuke us, they could bankrupt us, they could invade us, we don't know, so let's just not fuck with them right now. And that's
He is the disruptor in chief. That's what he's there for, to just disrupt the system.
Yes.
So this guy, and it's like, and here's the thing, as a hardcore Christian conservative, some would even sometimes claim alt-right, myself, Trump is one of the most pro-LGBT presidents of all time.
100%.
I even told Jeremy, nobody cares if you're gay, dude.
Yeah, no one gives a shit. We might.
What they do care about, and I mentioned in the video, was I use a word.
Do you? I mean, keep it to yourself. No one cares.
I used a word called aberration. And they have got, we as a people have gotten sick of everything progressive and gay being thrown in our face. And that's what it is. It's just a giant aberration that never stops. It's gotten so bad that you can't even go into Dungeons and Dragons anymore, because we're eliminating race and orcs, because orcs are a bash on black people. You know,
okay. Listen,
unless you've got king for
we all know. We are not stupid. We've seen the textbook. We know this is all fucking crazy ass Marxist, Leninist, postmodernist bullshit.
Right.
Okay? We know this.
Yeah.
But it's ending. It's dying a very slow, painful, purple-haired death right now.
Yeah.
Ignore it, and it will die. If we keep feeding it, it gets little revivals out of all of these interactions, and it gets a little chance to surge up again. Just fucking ignore it. It's going to die. It's bankrupted companies. It doesn't make money anymore. So all of that push that was behind it is falling away. Look what happened at CNN. They had fired so much of their conservative staff, or their conservative staff had left because they felt uncomfortable. Now that they're trying to get conservative pundits, they're having a hard time finding any, right? So they've
actually fired Snelter, God, they fired a lot of people. A lot of
Yeah.
like Trump has sufficiently broken the spine of the media. I even mentioned that. Anderson Cooper's losing his job. Lester Holt is losing his job. Joy
When
Reid,
Rachel
aka
Maddow loses her job, we can call it a victory.
we're waiting for Rachel Madcow, who's had her staff
Yes.
cut in half.
Was
Not only did she have her staff cut in half, but they also cut her salary by like millions. Rachel
Good.
Maddow.
Good.
It's
Because
Mad Cow.
these fuckers are complicit and part of it. And that's the thing people don't understand. Joy Reid, all of them, they're part of it. They are fucking disinformation agents.
Who is it that always says, maybe it's a Gundam, and he always says, you don't hate the media enough?
It's a Gundam who says that?
One of them will show shit, and I forget which one. It could be Razor Fist, but he'll have a show showing the media being assholes, and he'll be like, remember, you don't hate them enough.
Yeah.
Because they hate you more than anything.
Oh,
They think you're
they
just ignorant hicks, and they can say whatever, and they feel like they have a right to be on TV controlling what you think.
So for the first time ever in my life as a Canadian, I had felt closer to my American brothers than I do to my Canadian brothers. Okay?
well,
And the reason
close, Bear.
sorry, was that Hungar?
I said I thought we were always really close, buddy.
Let me finish explaining, you fucking weirdo.
He always does that.
I know, it's his
great.
fucking game. I'm just whatever. We have hit a point now where the Canadian surgence of pride is actually making people say nice things about Justin Trudeau again. We had almost gotten rid of that prick completely in the public eye. People hated him. But now people have got this weird Canadian fucking pride they're stirring up, and they're doing it in like asinine ways. I was in this one Facebook group where it was like, boycott this product, don't go to this store, buy Canadian. And one guy finally had to come and go, okay, here's the numbers on your average McDonald's. The average McDonald's in your neighborhood does this, does that, pays this much of their profits per year into your local infrastructure, into hydro, into all the stuff that they've got to deal with, this much into the community. Oh, yeah. And nationwide, they employ over 70,000 people under the age of 25. Maybe we need to not boycott local businesses because their head office is in the US. And I'm like, yes. And they just shouted him down, and they told him he was stupid. And they said, why don't you just go move to Trumpistan? And they did all their shit. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, holy fuck, I want out of this country now. I want to leave. This country is a shithole that is going through a nightmare scenario where my grocery bill has doubled every month, and I get nothing for it. When I walk out with a $300 order is what I used to get. Like I used to get that for like 125, $200 tops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I'm fucking like having to buy groceries every week because I can't afford to go spend $500 in one shot on groceries. My rent is out of control. My bills are out of control. My medications, thank God, are stabilizing, but they're going to go up at some fucking point. All because of this cunt who runs our country and his head being up the ass of the World Economic Forum and buying into all their bullshit. And now everyone's trying to be nice to him again because Trump's mean, Orange Man bad. Holy
Well,
fuck.
to be fair, he did cry on TV.
That was hilarious.
Justin? Oh, God,
Yeah.
more than once. Trust me, you guys only saw it one time. We get to see it more regularly up here.
But
On that, it's sad that my old lady makes a very good salad. She makes really good money. And we're on the verge of poverty.
Dude, I make very good money. My job pays me ridiculously well. But the fucking economy has eaten it to the point where I'm practically living on minimum wage.
And,
Yeah,
and in my, in my
year
video,
ago-
I mentioned that where
Yeah.
it's like if America and Canada both don't start producing the things that the world wants. China wants three things. They want pork, they want coal, they want oil. Let's give it to them. Let's build some railroads, couple pipelines, go north and south, and then ship it to the
Okay.
East Coast and send it to China.
Okay, all right. We are sitting in Canada on some of the largest natural gas reserves in the world. Okay, when the war with Ukraine started and the Russian bullshit happened and all that, Japan and Germany both came to see Prime Minister Trudeau begging for natural gas, and what he did instead was introduce them to a deal on hydrogen. Because he doesn't want to invest in natural gas, he doesn't want to invest in natural gas pipelines, and he doesn't want to invest in an LNG factory. We could be right now supplying the world with natural gas and as rich as the fucking Saudis from it.
There's no
That's
reason
something.
that Canada and America are not the two richest countries in the world. There's no reason.
None. Other
That's
than
something very near and
leadership.
dear to me, the natural gas, is because I have 100 shares in Dominion Energy. They're owned by Enbridge now. They've been I mentioned this in the video. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read the note verbatim that I made.
Never forget, the first thing Biden did is shut down the pipeline.
All right. So the media has been lying to you since 2022 about recession fears. The truth is, we have been paper shorting the commodities exchanges for almost 3 years to make inflation look like it's going down on paper, to make Democrats look good. The recession is already here. It's been here since mid 2022, and Dems always dump the market on a Republican so that they can Wojak meme point that they don't know what they're doing.
There's someone else named Ironcaster in the waiting room, James.
Oh, I know who Ironcaster is. I've just never seen him.
You guys are watching currently. Don't forget to leave a like for DM James. What's up, Shadow and Sun?
What's up, Ironcaster? How you doing, bro?
Hey guys, like, comment, and subscribe.
You did that.
Don't forget to ring that notification bell.
Hungar decided to go eat his ramen. Getting attacked up here wearing my 51st state hat like a man. Yeah, that's
I swear to God, I have never.
It don't have to be the only topic, but that was kind of what it started out as.
No, but I'm glad you brought it up because
we're not invading you guys.
No, but listen, James, as your token Canadian on your fucking channel, I am so happy we're finally talking about this in a serious fucking way and not in the comedy sense. Because you guys don't know how bad we fucking have it up here. It's out of fucking control.
I know.
A shit. I can show you the posting. There's a fucking bungalow in Vancouver that is near condemnation. It is falling in on itself, and the asking price is $1.5 million.
Yeah, you know what causes that? Importing 1 billion people into a country without the infrastructure to support them.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. Crazy when they want to bring in 1 million more people a year with no plans on how to fucking handle that.
Trudeau was so guilty because of what happened with your Indians that he just replaced them all, but I think he got the wrong Indian.
So you're talking about the resident school graves they found, right?
No, I'm just making a joke.
Because that's what led to his whole guilt about Native Americans, and he apologized and he did all this shit, James.
Did that not happen?
Not one single grave has been exhumed. They are preventing them from digging them up, and people who are experts in ground penetrating radar said, yeah, that could be a grave, or it could be a rock formation, and you won't know till you dig it up, but odds are it's a fucking rock formation. But they burned down churches here in protest, and that's okay.
Well,
this country's out of fucking control.
In fairness, Bear, that's not real communism. In fairness, Bear, that's not real communism.
And it's not even communism. That's the worst part. This isn't communism. This is fucking woke bullshit socialism.
Yeah, I just think it was, I forget who did the joke, but the joke was that the government of Canada was feeling so guilty because of the supposed genocides they committed. They replaced the Indians with Indians, but the Indians they replaced them with are actually from India.
They went from casinos to 7-Elevens.
We are the largest Sikh community outside of India.
You know, Agreem. the guy who lives in North India I talked to.
Yeah.
Apparently, you have a terrorist organization up there.
Yeah, the Khalistanis, yeah.
Yeah, I never even heard of that shit, but he told me
Jagmeet
all
Singh,
about it.
the leader of the New Democratic Party, the third party in Canada, Jagmeet Singh is very pro-Khalistani, but then so is Trudeau as well.
Isn't that Sikh expat that community? Weren't a lot of those people there because they were either given citizenship in the UK or any other Commonwealth country of their choice for service in the Great Wars?
That could be, but we've had a massive immigration in the last 20 years from India, especially into Vancouver. That's where Vancouver and Toronto is where a lot of them have gone. And they're great people, by the way. They're fantastic people. They're community oriented. There's a great video I could show you when everyone was shitting on Merry Christmas. The Sikh Gurdwara, a temple, who put up a sign in front of their place saying Merry Christmas, and everyone was giving them shit. And then they got interviewed by CBC, and the guy's like, look, when it's fucking, we say Eid Mubarak on our sign. We say, this. And he goes, it's Christmas time. Why would we not say Christmas now? Why would we not say Merry Christmas? So they're very open. They're very good people. They have a strong culture. There is a problem with the Khalistanis, which are these terrorists who want this independent homeland called Khalistan over in India. And we do have a problem in Vancouver and Toronto with second generation, so firstborn Canadian generation, Sikh Punjabi gangsters. We have a big fucking problem with that. Like, that's a huge, a lot of the crime is being run by them now. But that's life. We got to deal with it. We got to figure it the fuck out. We need better crime and punishment. And that's one of the things Polyev keeps talking about, is how the Trudeau government has fucking reduced sentencing to a point where it's a joke now. People are killing and getting out.
That's the big problem they're having in Britain now. It's the first generation born in the country that tend to be the real big troublemakers.
Exactly.
The immigrants themselves usually.
Yeah. So that's why I like the Chinese.
Sorry.
Go ahead, James.
I read something where in Britain recently they literally let a dude out of prison who had stabbed somebody or something because they needed room to put another dude in who had wrote mean memes or something.
Yeah. We're almost there in Canada, by the way.
They got the priorities in order.
So was that Ironcaster?
I said they got the priorities in order over in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
a bunch
really
of the blue states here.
They're really mad at JD Vance.
Yeah, a bunch of the blue states here would be doing it if they could.
What did he do?
Why?
He went out there and told them to stop being communists.
Yeah.
Oh, he told the Canadians to stop being communists? Okay, that's
no,
cool.
the UK. He was in Europe.
No, he went to the EU and told them they needed to respect free speech and stop locking people up.
Oh, I know that.
And then the dude cried over it.
And then, where was he from? Switzerland or Germany or something? Cried.
Germany.
One of those weird Euro trash countries, like Norwegia.
He's like, I thought we were of a shared interest, but maybe we're not. It is so difficult. And he started crying. It's like, what are you doing?
The worst part is, and I say this with all my love for you guys down south of the border, if it wasn't for you right now and the last 50 years, there'd be no Europe. There'd be no fucking Europe. You guys pay for everything over there. You protect them over there. You give them fucking amazing trade deals over there. You give them fucking financial support. They are like a bunch of fucking children whose parents are paying their rent and then getting all uppity and acting like we could do what we want. We don't give a fuck. It's like, but they're paying you rent.
That sounds like black magic craft in a nutshell.
I love that Germany is
Canadians that live in the city. A lot of them act like Europeans.
Dude, I live in Montreal, the most European city in Canada. Don't get me fucking started.
Yeah.
I love that the Germans are actually threatening to throw U.S. troops out. I would love the U.S. to leave NATO.
We already moved a bunch of them to like Spain, I think it was, because the Spanish were like, bring them in, build a base. Because they knew that whatever town we build the base by, they're going to make money. Because
I want us out of there entirely.
They're just like, free money for everyone.
In this city, our mayor is such a fucking moron. This bitch. She's like, and she's
is it the Toronto mayor?
No, Montreal. She put in She's had her mandate since like she's in 2 terms. She wants to have this be a walking city. Bitch, it's minus fucking 40 in January. No one wants to walk fucking anywhere. What's wrong with you? No. Let's go and put bike lanes in, permanent bike lanes, so you remove one side of the street's car parking to kill all business in the city core. Like the fuck? This isn't fucking Amsterdam. Use your
I saw
fucking
the
head.
most Canadian thing ever, Bear.
What?
It was a snowplow, and there was
Yeah.
like a little car in
Yeah,
front
stuck,
of
he's just pushing them. Yeah.
and it was just freaking
Yeah.
ripping down the street.
Yeah, it was here in
And,
Montreal.
but the guy in the snowplow had no idea that little car was there. He was
Oh no,
just,
he knew. He doesn't give a fuck.
you know.
So what they do when they remove the snow, the day before they put up all these no parking signs, right? And they say you can't fucking park here because we're removing the snow tomorrow. Then the morning of, the tow trucks go through and they tow everyone they can, right? They get them the fuck out. They tow them a couple of blocks away and they leave them, and that's the way it is. There's no penalty. You don't have to pay anything. They just move your car a couple of blocks because you're a fucking moron.
Right.
That car had been so covered by snow they missed it when they did the towing. So when the trucks came on to plow, that car was stuck in a snowbank, and well, it got free real fucking quick thanks to the plow. You know, but they do not stop the plows for anything. They just plow.
Hey, I've told you, we do the same thing. When I was on the job, if we had to hook our 4-inch supply line to a hydrant and you were parked in front of it, we'd take that Halligan bar, bust your windows right out, and run that 4-inch supply line right through your car. You know?
Yeah.
And until we're done putting the fire out, if you're just going to sit there, and we're not liable for it because that's just the way the law is. You know, you block our hydrants, you know, prepare for what you get because it's going to be that way. I mean, back in the old days, that's where the term plug ugly comes from, because hydrants we actually call plugs when you're on the duty. And the plug ugly was the biggest dude on the shift, and his job was to get the hydrant and whip anybody's ass that got near it. Like to take control of that hydrant or plug so that we could get the water supply. And if anyone tried to intervene at all, beat the shit out of them. You know? So
well, you had a situation in a lot of big cities where you had competing fire departments because they were private,
like
and they would actually show up and get into a fight.
Yeah, you'd have 2 fire crews show up and they get into a battle over who got to put the fire out. And then how they got paid is whatever you can save from the burning building, the people who owned it had to pay you to get their stuff back. And then if the building burnt down, they would send the crew in to collect all the bricks, knock the mortar off of them, and resell the bricks. I mean, when you learn about American fire history, like the fire service, it's some crazy ass shit. Like they used to call the Halligan bar the hooligan bar, because I don't know if you ever seen one, but there's not a door on earth, like in normal construction, that I can't get into if I got a Halligan bar. Yeah, like I'll pull that thing right off the fridge. And I'm 53 now and old and damaged with like a shit ton of titanium in my neck. But yeah, let me get that Halligan bar. I'll pull the door right off the hinges, man. And it'll happen so quick that, you know, you walk up, you just see which way the door opens, and that just determines which side of the tool you're going to use. If it pops out, you're going to use the spike or the awl. If it pops in, you're going to use the pry bar. Either way, you just jam that thing into a freaking door frame and freaking give it a pop, and you'll pop any door in the world open. Like even like still school doors, you'll pop open. I mean, you'll destroy the frame though. I mean, you know. Of course, one thing I did learn the hard way is, you know, those little glass windows and doors at school that have like the little, I don't think you're going to take a hammer and bust that thing out.
No, the mesh is there for a reason.
That mesh in there, you will bang on that. Well, I banged on it for about 15 minutes before I was like, nah, I'm gassed. I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to go sit down. And, you know, my lieutenant was like, yeah, go sit down. I mean, I went through like 2 bottles of air just swinging that freaking sledgehammer. I was like, I'm done. Yeah. I never got to play with all the fun stuff. You know,
So what's the name of this
my
Canadian
brother-
guy, Holy Diver? Black Market what?
Oh,
Black
Black
Market
Magic Crafts.
Yeah, Black
Black
Magic.
Why have I
crap.
heard that name before?
He's a
He
pretty big
makes
YouTuber.
terrain. He's big as far as, you know.
But it's just like he's just the total like disrespect for like, okay, Trump and the Republicans are Nazis. This is a setback for Canadian LGBTQ. Like, how does Trump being elected here affect the gay community in Canada? We'll never know, but apparently it does.
I'll tell
And
you
then,
what, and I've said this before, and I mean it. Everyone I've talked to, the L and the G and even the B are about sick and tired of that T and Q shit.
Well, it was never an actual community. Lesbians and gays notoriously dislike each other. None of them had ever trusted bisexuals. This is not a community. This is like
Try
dozen
fucking
disparate
being a
groups.
bouncer in one of those clubs, my boy. You learn it real fucking quick what the hierarchy is of
Quick,
which
yeah.
pussy goes where. And the general consensus is they all hate each other.
Well, I've been to a few because I dated a weird goth chick who had a gay friend. And I learned that when you go to a gay bar, you never sit on the bar with your hand like this because it's a signal to gay people that you're looking for some penis.
Well, you've already
But-
got the grip ready.
yeah, like because the whole I don't know, but the gay dude that was the friend with the hot goth chick that joined the Navy that I talk about sometimes explained they have a lot of weird rules and they do have a weird hierarchy. But yeah, your average gay dude has never wanted to go into a library and read stories to somebody's kid.
Oh God, no.
You know, they want to go to like their electro techno music and do some ketamine and you know
Get some
whatever.
fucking amyl nitrate poppers and have a good time.
Right. You know, it's like the T's are bringing them all down. And there's a couple of videos where there's actual guys, homosexual dudes who talk about it. And they're like, we're sick of this shit. We want to be left alone. You know, the one dude's even conservative. He's like, I vote conservative. I'm a gay man. I'm tired of this shit. Leave me alone.
Well, there's that one lesbian girl who's like the trans community wants her fucking murdered. She has a YouTube
yeah.
channel.
Yeah, I
She's
watched her a
amazing.
couple times. Yeah, she's
She's
good.
really good, but the trans community wants her dead because she's like, I'm not a bigot because I don't want to have your cock in me. I'm a lesbian. I'm not interested in your cock. It's just like the way she puts it is so fucking.
Well, look how they went after J.K. Rowling.
Who's
All it took was
woke as
one
shit.
disagreement.
Who is woke as shit. One
She's super woke.
issue. One issue she differed with them.
But then she said, yeah, I'm not into this whole trans thing. And everybody's like, you got to die now. And we're talking about a group of people that make up like less than 1% of society.
You're
And that's
also talking
probably in
about
America
a ludicrous group of people that were considered to have mental illnesses 20 years ago. And when they did it, 30 years ago, his name was Corporal Klinger, and he was hilarious.
He was. But we all knew he was just trying to get out of Korea.
Yeah, he didn't want to fight in the war anymore, so he wore
And
dress.
I don't even get this. Trump hates gay people. He has never said an unkind word. He was supporting gay marriage in the fucking 90s, 20 years before anyone else in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So
He has
okay.
never said an
He
unkind
was
word.
So
supporting
remember.
stuff before Obama did.
Okay, remember. Clinton moved the Democratic Party to the right of Reagan because Reagan was an old school California socialist. Okay.
Right.
Trump is moving the fucking Republican Party to the left of Clinton now. You understand? The Republican Party is doing what the Republican Party always does when social change hits America. They instigate the change that makes everything calm down. From Lincoln to the civil rights movement to where we are today. The Democrats do not want solutions. They want chaos and victim points so they can pretend to be fighting for the marginalized and get points. That's all they want.
Yeah.
I used to work in security in this place in Vancouver called the Downtown East Side. It's the poorest postal code in Canada, and it is a fucking nightmare. The shit I've seen, it's insane. There's an organization called DARA, the Downtown East Side Residents Association, of which the head of it makes something like $125,000 or $150,000 a year, and everybody gets paid a lot of money. So their job is not to make sure the Downtown East Side gets cleaned up and it gets, people get jobs. No. They're there to make sure people are marginalized so they can still have a fucking job every year.
So like Al Sharpton.
Exactly.
If you solve the problem, you don't get paid to keep fixing it.
Exactly.
Freaking grifters. Hungar used to be a firefighter too. I sometimes forget that, but he was a wilderness firefighter. So he didn't get to use any fun stuff or ride on any red trucks with the whirlies. He mostly was out in the middle of the woods watching bulldozers cut lines and with a shovel.
Digging fire breaks.
Digging breaks and shit.
Yeah.
Looking around every now and then. Is there still a way out? Cool.
Yeah, looking around, make sure you're not getting ready to get baked. But then again, our last name directly translates to the son of fire. From the ancient Gaelic, so maybe there's something in our blood. But Scott Pressler got all the Amish to show up. But
the fact that the Amish came to vote.
Trump not only did he pay for
the Dems were really
presidential campaign, but he used to bang like hot black supermodels all the time when he was single. It's like, are we talking about the same guy here? The dude from Queens that used to hang out with all these bros back in the 80s,
Yeah, the guy who gave, what's her name, a free apartment for life. Rosa Parks, is it, or whatever? It's some big name in the civil rights movement. Trump gave her a free apartment for life in one of his towers.
Hey, it's like Bobby Kennedy said when they were attacking him. He said, a month ago, these were the same people who were inviting me over for cocktail parties.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they hate my guts.
Oh, yeah. Donald Trump in the 80s and 90s got so many awards from the NAACP and now in groups like that for all his hiring of women and minorities and promoting him through his organizations. They adored him. They adored him.
Tons of awards from the Rainbow Coalition. Yeah. Jesse Jackson loved him. That dude was running wild in the streets up in New York. And like I've said a million times, and I'll say again, when people are like, I just don't like the way he acts. Well, my dad's from Queens. And Trump is from Queens. Guess what? New Yorkers go New York. Whether you like it or not, and I'm not saying I like it, because sometimes even my pops, I'm like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? But I mean, if you're wondering why he's so straightforward and sometimes he comes off a way, well, he's from frickin' Queens. That's just how they all are. I go up and visit relatives up there. They're all that way. And not just my relatives, all of them. New York is full of assholes. It's just how it is. Everyone's an asshole, and they're all looking out to make sure you're not trying to screw them over.
It's almost like people just forget that all these little regions have their different personalities. They have the different archetypes. You go to the people out in California, it's gonna be vastly different than the people in the Midwest, different than Florida, man.
Mm-hmm. And if you go to Southeast Kentucky, you might get ate by cannibals. So I mean, that's where I grew up, and I was showing my wife. She's like, there's not actual feral people in Kentucky. And I was like, go on YouTube and type in Kentucky feral people. And 500 videos came up. She was like, what? I was like, yeah, check some of those out. I mean, there's eyewitness reports, people going missing out in the woods. They're finding gnawed bones and shit. I was like, even the Cherokee used to be all like, don't go down in the hollers. Back when they ran that place, the Cherokee were like, nah, you don't want to go down in there.
Yeah.
Never get you in, Holly.
Never order the long pork.
Oh yeah, right. And ancient gods they brought over from Europe that aren't even Satan. They're other things that they brought over from Europe that are over there. But yeah, Trump was on Fresh Prince. He was on movies. Everyone loved him. Now
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Did you see when they cut him out of Home Alone?
Did they?
Yeah, he had a cameo in Home Alone.
I
He
remember
was
Home
cut
Alone
out
two.
of
the
it.
little kid.
Oh, two,
Home
one of
Alone
them,
two.
yeah. And
Well,
they cut him out of it.
I mean, the argument was they were cutting it down for time, which, to be fair, given the scene, I could kind of give it to them. Like, if they do want to cut it down, the Trump cameo doesn't do anything. All he literally does is point down a hallway.
That's
Yeah.
all he does. So that's why you got to own your physical media, because all this stream shit is just nonsense.
It's like video games. You can't own video games anymore.
You can if you got a Switch.
Yeah.
That's why Nintendo's winning right now.
Because like Steam recently updated their stuff to let you know that you don't actually own anything.
Yeah, it's a glorified rental.
So if they get mad at you over something you post somewhere, they can ban your ass. And even if you've got like $10,000 worth of video games on their platform, don't matter, man.
Oh, let them keep doing this, because it's one lawsuit away from busting it wide fucking open. And that lawsuit will come.
Yeah.
Remember Apple being all like, we can do what we want, and we want to use the Lightning connector, and the EU went, yeah, no, we're going to force you to use USB-C as your standard. And then now North American iPhones also have USB-C standard because it's cheap for them to do that than have two different models. Well, we have a right to repair. We have right to repair coming soon, which is going to be a really interesting one to see that happen. And then there's going to be physical media, and like access to your online purchases.
Because there for a while, every time you got a phone, it had a different charger.
Yeah.
It was like, even if it was the same make, like the same company, it wasn't just Apple. It was like all of them. You'd buy a phone and it'd be like, now you got to buy a charger, and then they sell you a phone without a charger, and it's like, oh my God, you guys are horrible human beings.
Part of that was also the fact that just the technology that goes into the development of that cable kept advancing, kept improving. For a while there, you weren't able to charge and use the phone at the same time. You couldn't transfer data on the same phone you were charging with. It's something that's apparently has been attempted to be standardized for the last 20, 25 years. We kept finding new ways to make that cable better.
I guess.
Yes and no. I used to work for Apple Care. Yes and no. It's also Apple loves proprietary. Apple has a big fucking hard-on for proprietary.
Well, Apple, there's also, but Apple's also doing its own separate thing. But just that's the general consensus I've kind of learned.
No, you're not wrong. The technology advanced amazingly, but it wasn't necessary advancement. It was just cool, new technology. It's like, okay, look, why do you have to update your operating system on your computer or on your fucking phone every year? Why? Because some asshole has to justify their job, right? Some group of assholes somewhere have to go, well, we got to get paid this year, so we need to update everything. Remember in Windows 98?
The best Windows.
How long did that fucking last for?
Decade.
They came out with Vista and regretted it and went back to 98 for a little while.
And 98 took like a kilobyte to run. It was nothing. I mean, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but like Windows 10 or 11, it takes like a gig or 2 gigs. It takes all this memory to run. And 98 would run on anything and was stable as hell, man. I know, because I used to play like Age of Empires 2, and my computer had 98. Boy, it was like, this is a bad. And I played Dark Age of Camelot, and the computer was 98.
Yeah.
It was like,
I had on my last computer, when I had my gaming computer, I had XP as like an alternate boot system because I had so
XP
much
was
software.
Yeah.
I had so much
XP worked
software
well
that ran
too.
on
It was nice and stable and lasted for years. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. But now it's every fucking year. Everything changes on us. Because some
All right,
asshole.
gentlemen, that's it for me. Y'all have a good rest of your Sunday. See you,
too,
GSA.
sir. Thanks
Take
for
care, man.
dropping in.
Thank you
Good
for
seeing you.
having me.
I appreciate it.
What happened to the fucking chat here in Restream? It just vanished.
I still see mine. It says here, O'Neill Flynn, who I always feel like his name is backwards.
Yeah.
75-year-old refrigerator is more efficient and easier to repair than a new one. Well, that's kind of like, I had a 71 Volkswagen microbus with the pop top, and I rebuilt the engine by myself with just a idiot's guide to Volkswagen engines. It had a 1600cc engine in it, you know, like one of the old school ones. And I pulled it myself and rebuilt from the bottom up. I mean, you know, the most difficult thing was I had the two carburetors, so I had to put the tool on it and like adjust the carburetors until the ball would be in the middle to show that it was sucking air at the same rate. But I mean, then my wife was like, hey, something's wrong with my car. Go check it out. She's got like a 2000 whatever HRR or HHR. And I popped the hood and I was like, I don't even know what this is. And the battery, I couldn't find it. And when I finally found it, it's deep underneath the fuse box. So it's like, why would you put the battery under the fuse box?
So that you got to go to the dealership to change it.
Yeah, it's the craziest shit ever, man. My first car was a 78 Monte Carlo. I think it was 78, but it was a Monte Carlo and it had like a 305 you know, Chevy engine in it. And that thing, man, it had so much space under the hood that you could climb in and, like, you know, be sitting in there working on it, you know, pull the air filter off, carburetors, throw it in some, you know, solvent and clean it up. Just do whatever, you know. It was so
squirrel.
easy. Yep, there's the squirrel.
Yeah. My ex had a Ford, I think it was a Ford Focus. We had to jump the car one time. We could not find the battery. So we actually had to bring it in. The engine literally had to be lifted out. The engine had to come out of the car to change the battery. That's how up their ass these guys' heads are. But, you know, it's intentional. They want you to go into the dealership to fix everything. You can't, nothing's repairable.
Yep. Whereas back in the day, if you had an old muscle car or something, if you were a little bit handy, understood some shit, and had, what was the name of those books you could buy at the parts store, the Chathams or whatever? And
oh yeah, the manuals
for your year and model of car, and literally using that book, it had manual like diagrams and shit. You could rebuild the whole car.
Yeah, there's a guy who lives near my brother.
Read and whatever.
There's a guy near my brother who's got a business. All he does is he like collects old like washing machines and refrigerators and all this stuff, and he just like constantly repairs them. And people bring shit there, and he fixes them. He has a really good business doing that because people don't want the new shit. They want something they can fix and is going to die in 5 years.
Well, I mean, if I was rich, I'd be looking for a badass old GTO. Or maybe like a 49 Chevy Impala. Like a 49. I like the 49. Or whichever version Dean and Sam had. Yeah.
Listen, Impalas are Pimpalas for a reason, buddy.
Yeah.
Classic.
But if I had my druthers and I could buy any car in perfect working order, AMC Eagle.
AMC Javelin?
AMC Eagle. Sorry, I know
nice.
Doc Flamingo's zoo went off there. So.
No, that wasn't me. I don't think.
No? Oh, it's yours.
It's
Okay.
someone else's zoo.
I'm used to
I'm
yours.
getting ready to have to go because the storyteller has showed up. Da, da, da. We're going to play some vampire tonight. Hopefully not all. Well, we'll already be dead, but, you know, die again. Our characters anyway. But, yeah, man. Yeah, that was good. You know what I always liked is that six-wheeled Subaru. But I already got one. The six-wheeled Subaru truck that used to be out like back in the 80s. Do you know what I'm talking about? It had like 4 back wheels and then like the steering wheels. And it was a little truck. It wasn't even like gigantic. It was just a weird 6-wheel truck. And I just thought it was the neatest thing ever.
I always wanted a Volkswagen thing.
Oh my goodness! A Coopwagon painted up in
Right
Africa core
angles.
colors, put some freaking palm trees on the door.
Weld the
Friend
door
of
shut, put a
mine-
hatch up top.
A friend of mine from Vancouver, now I'm sure it's because that was the 90s, so I'm sure her parents aren't doing it anymore, had a Kubelwagen kit shop. They would basically build Kubelwagens for people.
I have
Right
no
down to the
idea
shovel.
why anyone would like those.
Good car, apparently. Apparently they were tough.
They're so ugly, though.
I know. But they
It's
didn't have to
like-
go and get, like, they had to go find a manufacturer to make the shovels that went in the back and everything. Like, it was crazy.
They are the ugliest cars I've ever seen. They're just hideous. It's like somebody just took a weird aluminum box and threw wheels on it. I mean, it's like, but apparently they were really good everywhere. They were used in Africa and Russia and
Yeah.
all over Europe. So I mean, they must have been pretty good.
You know, I thought I'd seen the ugliest car ever. Then I finally saw the Cybertruck in person.
Mm,
Those are freaky, strange.
they don't
looking
look
vehicles.
like they should be cars.
The thing is, it looks when you're looking at it head on, it looks fine. But when you start getting the side profile and you see the back, you're like, what the?
It reminds me of all those Navy
What the low polygon
stealth
am I
ships.
looking at?
Yeah.
You know, all those Navy stealth ships they brought out like 10 years ago, and they all had those like weird angles and shit. It's like that's what they
Yeah.
remind me of.
Yeah. The real estate lady who was trying to sell the house across the street owns one. And I walked out the front door one day and it was parked over there. And I was just like, what's that? That don't even look real, man. I'll take it. I'll take a mid-70s Ford any day. You know?
Oh no.
Or my old Chevy
Chevy
I had. Oh my
van.
God.
Give me a 70s fucking Chevy van.
I had a
With,
Chevy.
with an
Chevy
amazing
before I
fucking
blew it up.
painting on the side of it, like tarnished heavy
Got it.
metal or some shit. You know what I mean?
Proper wizard van.
Oh yeah, like DCC. Yeah.
Got like the
And
Hawkwind
Dungeon
album
Plastic,
covers on it.
They always were riding around in that van, and it's got like the D&D mural shit painted all over the side. In one of the books, it even shows the van like whipping through space with all the adventures. But of course, the fighter in the DCC books got a big freaking handlebar mustache, and he's wearing like bell bottoms, and the mage
It's
has got like
Lemmy.
afro puffs and shit. This is like crazy, man. But Goodman Games even said this is the game your crazy uncle would have been playing in a basement with black lights. You know, it was like, okay. Anyway, though, I'm being rude to all of my guests who have arrived, so I'm going to take off. Ironcaster, it's good to see you, bro.
Yeah, no,
Doc,
I had a little bit of time.
Doc, good to see you as always. And of course, my favorite Canadian. I mean, other than Condor. I'm joking. I'm joking. You're my favorite. Oh, man. I'll catch you guys later.
Nothing but love.